Well, hello members and supporters. Welcome to the Rabbitohs Insider, our first episode for the 2019 season. We've got a big game against the Roosters this Friday night at the SCG. We're going to take a look at that game. We're going to have a look at our whole pre-season as well. We're going to take a look at the KO keys to the match, a look also at our pathways, and we've got a feature on our pre-season coming up. To kick off the Rabbitohs Insider this week, as we will every week, is Mark Ellison, our football manager. How are you, Ella?
Very well, Jez. Great to be back for another season and can't wait for Friday night.
I was about to say, you must be excited about Friday night. The footy's finally back.
Yeah, mate, looking forward to it. It's always a long off-season for the staff, but more so the players. They train really well and they'll be ready to go on Friday night, providing the turf holes up out there.
Well, Ella, you were the man that was out there on Sunday in your full three-piece suit. I saw in the Daily Telegraph checking out the turf. Everything's going to be okay though.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I mean, the rugby played the game in opposite direction of what our field's going to be on Friday. There's no damage really to the main field surface, and anything that has been damaged will be replaced with new grass. So I've got no concerns at all.
Beautiful. Now, as we said, it's a new season, 2019, about to kick off. Quite a few changes at the club. Most importantly, the head coach, Wayne Bennett. You share an office with Wayne. What's that experience like?
Yeah, it's been good actually. It's been he's come in. There's a lot of not much pressure on anyone around the place. He just wants everyone to do the best they can and be the best they can when they need to. It's quite interesting. He's had such a long time in the game, and I just love listening to the conversations he's got, and I like seeing him go about his business.
We hear the players talk about he's not the same man that you see on the cameras. He's very caring. He's very much a player's coach. Is that what you found as well?
Yeah, the players are his ultimate, what he wants to work on. Obviously, he likes everyone looking after their own part of what they need to do. But the players need to have his faith, and I think they do.
In terms of players, new players coming to the club, just a recent addition in Ethan Lowe. He seems to have fit in fairly well, and some guys that have been training all pre-season, Corey Allen and Liam Knight and Corey Dennis and these sorts of guys that have added to the squad. Yeah,
they're all been good inclusions, Jez. Particularly Ethan Lowe, just at the death here. We lost Angus, who we're playing against on Friday night, so there's a little bit of a void in that back row position with experience. We've got some good young kids coming through that will eventually fill those roles, but having Ethan there to come off the bench and be able to fill in that role, it's a big positive for us.
What about some of those other younger guys that have come into the squad? A lot of talk about Corey Allen over the pre-season, but also guys like Liam Knight and Corey Dennis and these sorts of guys.
They've all been good, mate. They've all had experience in the NRL, except obviously Corey Allen, but he's come through as a very well-credentialed young fullback. Played obviously in the Prime Minister's 13 last year, 3 tries in the Charity Shield. I don't think I scored 3 tries in my career during the Charity Shield, so to get 3 in one half or one game of football is fantastic. But he'll get his chance at some stage. It might even be this weekend.
I think we're going to have a look at one of those tries a little bit later on in Ello's Play of the Week. But first of all, 3 pre-season trials. Albury, of course, the John Sutton testimonial and the Charity Shield. What did you take out of those games?
Oh, they were good. The biggest thing for us, it was great for rugby league. I mean, we took 2 of the games to the country areas, Albury and Mudgee, and the players were just outstanding. The way they got around the community. Like after the Charity Shield, the boys were out in the field for 40 minutes signing autographs. In Albury, it was the same, and we got great feedback. And it's great for the players to get that. I mean, in these days where rugby league's not high up, getting all the raps that they should be, the boys have done a great job taking to those areas. And obviously, have John Sutton play a testimonial game here, the service he's given to this club, and thank you to the people on that day that came out and braved the conditions to support John. And the big thing about John that I took out of it was, we weren't thinking of playing some of the bigger name players in that trial, but they all wanted to be part of it with John. So that's a great testament to him.
We saw most of those bigger name players for about 20 minutes in that game. Of course, they played a lot more in the Charity Shield. There were some promising signs when they were on the field.
Yeah, they're gelling well together, Jez. I mean, there's Yeah, the squad's been together, the nucleus of it, for quite a while now, and Wayne and JD and Willie are putting their finishing touches on the squad. It'll be a little bit different to what we've seen last year in a few areas, but the biggest thing I'm seeing is the camaraderie between the group. We spoke about those new boys that have come in, Corey Dennis, Liam Knight and Ethan, and you just have a conversation with them, and they say how easy the transition's been and how the boys that have been here have looked after them, so that's a good sign.
Well, very good. Well, one of our most popular segments last year, of course, was Ellis Player of the Week. We prefaced it a little bit earlier on, but here's Ellis Player of the Week.
Sims, and now goes from Cook to Walker. His footwork at the line, staying alive. Dives for the try line. He's come up short.
Great desperation from the Dragons.
He looks certain to score. Cook goes to the short side. Sutton pops it over the top. Corey Allen.
Hello, it's time for your Play of the Week, and as we mentioned earlier, it was the magical John Sutton play for Corey Allen's try in the Charity Shield.
Yeah, it was, Jez. It was something out of the ordinary. John noticed the numbers were short on the short side. It was a 3-on-2 effectively. Instead of going through their hands, he just threw a one-arm slam dunk basketball pass to Corey Allen, who was in a good position to take the ball and put the ball down over the try line. There's Cody gets tackled there. You notice number 5's in the tackle, that's Lomax. He's had to come in and make the tackle there. So John Sutton's realised there's no winger back on this short side. So we noticed on the long side there that the Dragons guys are getting offside because they're expecting a shift play. But the guy here, Aiken, is their widest defender. So Sutto's obviously you put your heads up here and said, I need the ball. And then masterly pass, away goes Corey Allen in the corner.
What I've noticed there, Ello, is those two outside men of the Dragons with the defence have rushed up themselves to try and shut it down. They weren't ready for the over-the-top pass from Sutton.
Right. The key here is that the Dragons have tried to come up and shut it down because they realise they're one number short. However, if Soto just goes through the hands there to Braden, it's pretty easy tackle for Aiken to make. But Aiken's got only eyes for Sutton and Braden Byrne. He's forgotten about Corey Allen out wide. And the magic of Soto getting that pass over there, it's just a real good rugby league try.
It's a great story in itself, the experience, the 16 years of experience, the most capped player at our club, handing the try to the kid, playing probably one of the biggest games in his career so far.
It was a good effort from Corey Allen. He wasn't probably expecting the ball either. Soto knew it was on, but he might have thought it was going through their hands. But he reacted well and did what he had to do in the finish. But it was Soto reading the play. Everyone thought the Rabbitohs will shift right, like we have a lot of the time last season, but just a different finish this time.
Well, Ello, I've got to say that's a pretty good Ello's Player of the Week to start the season.
Excellent from Soto.
Well, we saw the magician at work again there with a great pass for Corey Allen. John Sutton, we're going to see that a lot more this year, I am sure. Now, that's in the past. Time to have a look at this week, Ello. We're taking on our arch rivals, the Roosters, at the SCG. Does it get any better way to start the season?
No, it's great. It's great not only for the two clubs, but for the NRL. I mean, traditional rivals playing off at the traditional home of rugby league. It's very exciting for me, and I know for all the players and the people going to watch, they can't wait.
Yeah, and it's good to see in the lineups, two very strong lineups for both teams. We see AJ at the back, Greg named in the centres. I guess we're expecting that to start the year.
Yeah, we were. I mean, they've trained in those positions throughout the off-season. AJ's trained in a few different spots, but he's ready. It's as good an off-season as I've seen him have. And of course, the master will be back.
And of course, we see a bit of a change in the forward pack. Sam moving back to the edge. There's been a lot of talk about that in the pre-season, but it gives a guy like Cameron Murray time to start at lock, and how exciting is that?
Well, it does, and it puts a fear of God into the other pivot that Sam's going to be running at. So, I mean, that's something that I think will be great for us. Sam will be able to get a quick play of the ball here and there, or just be able to run over a few of the opposition. So they'll have to be on their game to stop him.
All right, it's time to take a look at some of the matchups in our brand new segment brought to you by KO. It's the KO Keys to the Match. The first one we're going to look at here, Ello, is the back row. Of course, you've got Sam Burgess and John Sutton up against Boyd Cordner and Angus Crichton from the Roosters. That's going to be tantalising, that matchup.
Yeah, they're really good matchups for a different reason. I mean, Boyd Cordner and Sam both have captained their countries, so they're obviously strong leaders, particularly in the forward pack. Both have different strengths in their games. Sam hasn't been out there a lot in recent history, but I've seen him play some of his best football there, so I'm looking forward to see how he goes this week. On the other side of the park, you've got the guile of Sutton against the barnstorming Crichton. So two different styles. Angus will probably be a little bit nervous playing up against his old club, which is understandable, but we'll be ready for him. And we saw what Sutton did throughout the trials and what I've seen him do in training. He's getting younger each year, not older.
I was about to say, you watch him train, you watch the way he played in the pre-season, people think he's going to slow down. I haven't seen that at all, but what he's doing, he's playing smarter.
Well, he is, and what he's doing still at training, he touches every line. And his teammates and the squad see what the effort he puts in. Obviously, as he gets a little bit older, it's a bit tougher to do in the pre-season, but he's got through it really well this year. The way we're going to play it might free him up a little bit more too than what we've seen in the past. So, looking forward to it.
Well, we have a look at the defensive line. We've got those two out there on the edges, the smaller men defending right next to them. Let's have a look at that matchup. You've got Adam Reynolds and Cody Walker up against Cooper Cronk and a former Rabbitoh in Luke Keary, another guy that might be feeling nervous against his old team. Yeah,
I mean, both halves are as good as any in the competition. Traditionally, you've got Cronk and Reno, the organisers, and the kicking game, and the good defenders and that. And you've got Cody, more of the running player, and so is Luke Keary. Okay, they're more the second string kickers in the team. Not trying to put them down, but that's what they are behind blokes like Cronk and Reynolds. It might come down to how good they defend. As I said, the game could be won on the edges. How they're defending, and if they want to put their body on the line, we'll see on the night.
We saw Cody Walker in particular in the pre-season take on a leadership role with the Indigenous All-Stars team, captain that side. That must have given him another boost in his confidence to know that he's a key man in these games.
Yeah, he is, and it's great to see. He's very passionate about his Indigenous race, and what he's done over the years. He's been at South. He's really grown. He came here without playing in the NRL. He got his shot. He's matured week in, week out, and he's one of the form 5/8s in the competition. There's no doubt about that. And we're really happy the way he's going, and we're sure he'll keep improving.
Now, there's obviously a bit of doubt about Reno with the amount of stick that he gives Wayne Bennett and yourself at training, that he may not be selected at all.
I think we'll put him in. He's got through the off-season without playing a trial again. He's a genius at that. But anyway, he'll be there. He's ready to go. He had a little bit of a clean up on his shoulder. He's a polished professional, mate. He'll be there ready to go on Friday night.
Very good. Well, that analysis really makes me excited about Friday night. Can't wait to get out there. Now, of course, also the weekend doesn't finish on Friday night. Our Pathways team, our Canterbury Cup team, plays on Sunday at the Metricon High Performance Centre at Redfern Oval. A 1:10 p.m. kickoff against the North Sydney Bears, the brand new feeder club to the Sydney Roosters. So that should be a great game. It's time to speak with Brock Schaefer about our Pathways.
Welcome to the first episode of the Pathways Wrap-Up. I'm Andrea Mandadakis. I'm joined here by Head of Football Operations, Mr. Brock Schaefer. Brock, thanks for coming in.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to talk about our pathways.
And we'll start off with the under-16s, Harold Matthews. They're 5 from 5. They're looking really good.
Oh, they're a really special team, and I think we're constantly asked who are the greatest players in that team, who played well over the weekend, but each week it's sort of every single player does something special.
And it was a good win against the Parramatta Eels. It was a top 4 battle. We speak a lot about the attacking prowess of this side, but there was a lot of defensive performances as well.
Well, Parramatta are one of the strongest teams in this competition and historically have been. And what I think we've seen from the 16 side this year talks to the culture of the juniors, which is it's not just about doing something flashy and scoring a try, but it's actually about defensive efforts. And I think you saw that last weekend.
And their counterparts, the SG Ball under 18s, a little unlucky. They fought well against the top 4 side, Parramatta as well, but just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, they fight really hard every week, and I think sometimes the scoreline might not be so flattering, but it's not reflecting how much effort they're putting in and how close the games really are when you're there at the ground watching.
And they've got a number of good players as well coming through, particularly in the spine.
Yeah, they do. I think the hooker, Peter, Brad Zampeck, there's some really special players there. Again, when we talk about the juniors, we talk about the effort of Luke Curry, of the coaches, of the board. It's about culture. It's not just about what the result is at the end of the day. I think they're developing great men. And as we've seen with guys like Campbell Graham and Cameron Murray, that's really important to the NRL side.
And those teams will be playing at Erskineville Oval this Saturday at 10 a.m. against the Sydney Roosters. Doesn't matter what grade it is, it's always a big game against them.
Oh, it's a pretty good rivalry, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see us play the North Sydney Bears as well.
Moving on to the Jersey Flegg side, they're a fairly new side. What can we expect from them, and how's their trial form been so far?
Yeah, they are a new side. We've been out of the 20s competition for the last season, so what Ben Rogers has been able to do in recruiting a side and getting them to gel together has been really special.
And who are some of the young kids coming through on that side we can keep an eye on?
Well, I think there's a lot of players in that team. Again, I don't want to really individual and select anyone at this point of the season, but anyone who was there for the Wentworthville trial, I think would have seen something about this side. A lot of their big guns actually sat that game out. A lot of the guys who've just been there on train and trials got their opportunity, and they impressed everyone at the club. Wayne was there, our assistant coaches were there, Shane Richardson, and everyone walked away really happy with that team's performance.
Good to hear. Moving on to the Canterbury Cup side. It's the first time in 12 years we've had a side in red and green after being with the North Sydney Bears. Similarly, how have they been going in their trials?
Oh, they're going incredibly well, actually. I think what you're looking for out of that division is not necessarily the results in trial games, but rather combinations and how they're gelling together. It's been an interesting sort of pre-season because a lot of that squad has been training full-time with the NRL side, and so it's really only been sort of 8 or 9 guys training together each week after work, but they've been coming together really well as a team under Shane Millard.
And members and supporters will have a great chance to see them in action this Sunday afternoon at 1:10 p.m. here at the Metricon High Performance Centre against the North Sydney Bears. It's going to be a big one.
Oh, I cannot wait. I think it's really exciting what's happening in the NRL game on Friday at the SCG, but it's going to be just as exciting here at Redfern Oval on Sunday. I cannot wait.
Moving on to our women's side. Last season we saw in their inaugural year, they made the grand final, they got the minor premiership. Bit of a younger side this year, but they're already off to their winning ways at the Dubbo Indigenous Nines.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a few girls who've left the team. Some have gone to other clubs. In exciting news, a couple of the girls are pregnant and starting families. So we've seen a few girls exit the side, but the group we've put together, a few young girls coming out of the juniors Tasha Gale team, as well as we've got players coming down from Newcastle to train every night. We've got a few girls who've moved from Queensland. We've got a pretty good team there, and I think we had a great induction night for them on Monday with Blake Solly, our CEO, and what they're going to be able to do this year is going to surprise a lot of people who've been pretty quick to write them off.
Brock, thank you so much for coming in today. And that's it for this week's Pathways Wrap-Up.
Wayne Bennett, I want him to club mates. Hello there.
I think we've got great resources as a club, and if we can't give something back to the game and the grassroots where most of us come from, and that's what we try to do, and that's what I'm trying to do here. And South Sydney's a great brand, great club, so people should be looking forward to seeing them play. And
chose to stay with us. A lot of people would have left. He's played all the way through, week in, week out. He's one of truly great players that I've ever been involved with for 27 years. He's a great man.
Such a privilege and honour to represent not only myself and my little family, but my people and my culture. It's an awesome honour for myself, and something I remember for the rest of my life.
Giant Shield, 7 in a row, it's a good start, but looking forward to the season.